to the recording at a later time. So you'll have access to the recording. So, and it's also Friday. So I do understand that you are at your end of the day and it's totally fine. You have ingested a good amount of information over the last 2 days. So you will have access to these slides, to this recording, and then also you'll have my contact information and a bevy of resources available to you. So please, please, please do not try to figure it all out for any of the platforms you've learned about throughout, your symposium. Please, 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 just take your time. We really are all trying to make sure that these things are sustainable for you to use as a teacher, and just gives you some really good ideas going into back to school. All right, so let's get started. All right, so this session is our Going Beyond Annotation, and we call it that because Kami used to just be known as an annotation tool, kind of like a DocuSign tool, but we're so much more than just that. So if you could let me know in the chat, or you can unmute yourself, when it comes to Kami, where are you at? Are you brand new? Are you a dabbler, occasional user? Are you a frequent user, or are you madly in love with Kami? Where are you at with Kami? Let me know in the chat. Where are you with Kami? Occasional dabbler, yeah, perfect. Okay, got some ones, some dabblers. I've seen some people follow me. That's always a really big compliment. You came to my second session. Beautiful, I love it. Anybody else? Where are you at? I know we're a small group. We're intimate. It's cozy in here. So, oh, good. Frequent user. I love it. Hopefully by the end of today's session, you graduate at least to one up of a level. So we take you from brand new to dabbling in, or we take you from frequent. So hopefully you find some things that make you madly in love, and really spark that zing for you with Kami. All right. Let's go to the next one. All right, so Kami, like I said, we started off as this annotation tool where during COVID, teachers were looking for a place to utilize their worksheets, their documents, and their resources that were tried and true to them. And there wasn't really a platform that allowed them to do that, where students could interact with the document, mark it up, write on it, mess it up, and return it to teachers. So that's what Kami started off as in 2020, and became known for. But also we've grown and evolved as a company, and as a platform for you and for your students. So what Kami seeks to do is elevate instruction for all of your learners, from your general education students to your Tier 2 students, and really a documentation tool for your students who need those more intense interventions. And also it really seeks to make documents interactive and resources interactive for students and accessible. So we utilize some AI tools that we're going to talk about today, specifically in our Understand menu. And then we also are really aiming to save teachers time. On my particular team, and myself included, every single one of us have been a classroom teacher for at least 2 years. I personally taught for 9. And the director of my particular team at Kami, he taught for about 10 years and then became an administrator before coming over into the ed tech world. So here at Kami, teachers are premier. We love your feedback. We love the way that you think, and we understand you. And hopefully you feel very, very well taken care of, and heard by us here at Kami. So Kami is really to help make teaching, grading, planning, assessing sustainable for you as a teacher, but also make instruction accessible, comprehensive, and interactive for students. So everything you do, we say we do with Kami. So you can turn resources and content into interactive and engaging documents for both the teacher and the student, where feedback is on time and in real time. And also you can utilize your voice to give feedback, or a video, or you can also capture your screen, and then you can model for students a workflow. You can also plan and grade. With Cami, we have some integrations with Google Classroom and a variety of other learning management systems that really help with grading. We also have some AI question generators that can either take an assessment you already have that has questions and turn it into an auto-graded activity, but also it can generate questions for you from reading passages or from documents. We also have supports that really give you insights into student learning and to help you to create small groups or to get an insight into student learning. So everything that you use to create documents and resources for students, you can utilize them with Cami. Now, the best way for you to do that and to get the most out of Cami is by installing our extension. If you utilize Google Chrome, we have an extension inside of the Chrome store. We also have an extension for Microsoft Edge. You do not need to download an app. We do not have an app. We are not app-based. We are web-based. So any device that can connect to the internet can connect to Cami. It just makes us more agile and flexible and easier to use. Now, when I say anything that you use with your students, you can do it in Cami. Probably quite literally, I mean that, where anything from the Google Suite, so Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets, anything in your Google Drive, you can open it with Cami. Anything in the from Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and OneDrive, you can open those in Cami. Anything that you created in Google Classroom or any of the other LMSs you see on your screen, you can open them in Cami. And my personal favorite is any presentation that you create in Canva or any document that you create in Canva resource, you can open it in Cami, or anything you download or purchase from Teacher Pay Teachers, you can utilize with Cami as well, as long as you have that extension installed. All right, now for the interactive portion of our time together, I am going to give you the link for you to join me on this Cami doc. And you're going to, the purpose of this is for us to, well, for you to get the student experience and for us to collaborate, and also for you to have a copy of this slide deck. So it gives us a dual purpose for me to show you some of the things that Cami can do, but also for you to have a copy of this slide deck. If you've never signed into Cami before, it will prompt you to sign in with your Google. You can either sign in with email. Please sign in with your school email so that you are on your school's or district's license, or you can sign in with Google and you can give it access to your Google in that way. If you've never signed in before, it may ask you like what school, what's your role, so you will answer those questions as well. All right. Beautiful. I see you all coming in. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. The first page for you all is that resource page, so you can utilize that. There's lots of clickable links there for you to use as you're exploring through Cami and as we're waiting for people to come in. If you could meet me once you're in here on page 10. Page 10. If we can meet on page 10, and then utilize the tools on your toolbar. Your toolbar has looks a little bit different than mine, but you should have the text box, comment, and drawing and add media tool. And I would like for you to answer the question, which one doesn't belong and why do you think so? All right. I'm still waiting for a few of you to join in. There's only 2 of you on the Cami doc, but there are what? 4, 6, 8 of us together. So I'm still waiting for a few of you to join the Cami. Right. Beautiful, beautiful. So if you could join me at slide 10, so scroll down to slide 10. The question that we're going to be focusing on today is, let's discuss which one doesn't belong and why do you think so? There's no wrong answers. I just really want to know what you think. I want to get us interacting together. The way to use your tools in your toolbar is by selecting the tool you want to use, the drawing tool, and then you can utilize that tool however you like. All right, so which one do you think doesn't belong? Make sure you guys have tools. Ooh, okay. Anybody else? I can see. Okay. Magdalene. Oh gosh. Okay, that was strong. Strong opinion. Megan, Nancy, Magdalene. All right. So why? Y'all can either unmute or you can utilize the comment or the text box features to say why. Why do you think that one does not belong? We have a chocolate or chocolate glazed donut. I don't know what you call that donut. We also have like a square, everything but the bagel, seasoned bagel sandwich. We also have a sesame seed bun and we have a blue speckled cup. So which one of these does not belong? Oh, okay. Who said this? Magdalene said because it's not edible. Any other question? Any other responses? Why does that cup not belong? There's no wrong answers. Come on, guys. We're almost there. Which one of these does not belong? All right. So Magdalene just says because it's not edible. Okay. But this one's a square. So does a square not belong? It's a mug. I don't know. Okay. Good. Good. What I'm trying to show you here, and then in utilizing Cami, you can utilize Cami for collaboration, and also as a way to introduce new topics or even for mental health check-ins or discussion boards. I know oftentimes as teachers, we do want to hear our students and their thoughts and how they're thinking, but we also want to record it in a way that we can review it later or maybe even share it with our colleagues or administrators. So this can be a good way for you to get your students, thoughts and opinions, or just tracking where they're at with a new piece of instruction where it's recorded and it is in one place. So this can be another way that you interact with your students without using large anchor charts or those extremely large Post-its in a way for you to, hear from your students that's sustainable. All right. So if you went to my collaboration session, which some of you did who are here on this call, you know that collaborating in Cami can be quite easy. And the way that you can collaborate in Cami is by sharing any document that you create. You can open files from your Google Drive, your OneDrive, your computer, or you can utilize the Cami library. And you can share collaborative documents or documents that you want your students to collaborate on by utilizing so this top bar, the address bar here, To the far right, you'll see your initials. And to the left of your initials, you'll see the share button. When you select share, you will have access to the link for the document. You can select copy, and now that link will be copied. And you can paste it, and you can share with your students that way, just like I shared with you. Or if your students utilize iPads, tablets, or anything that a QR code would be faster or easier, you can share in that way as well. Now, when you share, you do have a few ways that you can share. So you have sharing permissions. And so in the sharing permissions, you are able to share with students as them being a viewer or an editor or individual copies, creating an individual copy for each student. So that would not be collaborative if you were to select the create an individual copy. They would get their own and they would not see each other's work. But if you would like for them to work together and work with you, then you will select editor, and then you'll have a feature control button. You then are able to control which features that students have access to, just like I have controlled with you. I'm gonna, as of this point, you only have a few features. You have your understand tool, you have your text box, your drawing, and your add media. But if I select turn all on and I press OK, you now have access to all of the tools on the toolbar. And I didn't have to refresh or send you a new link or reassign you. They're just all there. So that is collaborating in Kami. And you can also share these documents that you create in Kami inside of Google Classroom. So you can share with your students that way as well. The way that you would share with your students with Google Classroom is when you sign into Kami, this is what we call your Kami dashboard. From where you're currently at right now, I'll show you how to access that dashboard. So right now you're inside of the Kami doc. You can select to the far left, top left corner, the Kami logo, and it will say go to dashboard. When you select there, it'll open up your Kami dashboard. And this is what we call our Kami dashboard. So if you were to share with your students via Google Classroom, from your Kami dashboard, you can create a new Google Classroom assignment. On the left-hand side, you'll see open file. The next header you'll see is create new. And then you'll see underneath blank page, you'll see Google Classroom assignment. And that's how you'll select there. And you'll be able to share with your students the activity that you have created for them. So that is a way. Any question about sharing or collaborating inside of Google Classroom? I mean, inside of Kami? Anyone? Any questions about collaborating in Kami? Was it fairly easy for you to interact with the tools, the Kami tools? I know some of you went to my last session, so it's very similar. Some of you who are new, but did you enjoy the process? Was it difficult? Was it easy? You can just let me know in the chat or any of the reactions. Anything. All right. So next we're going to talk about in Kami, when you upload anything to Kami, your annotations will be flattened. That means that you will not be able to move around any of the text. You won't be able to edit your text when you upload something into Kami. So if you do make or you need to make any edits in that way, you can create a new text box and you can like hover over things. Like if I wanted the background to be the same, I could make a text box here, and I wanted to change the title, I can make a text box here, and I can just use the dropper and then turn that to my background so it looks more seamless. If I wanted to change the title, let's say change. Oh, I made the font that same color. So if I wanted to change the title, and then it looked So I can do it in that way, but just know that once you upload something into Cami, it you cannot edit the original, like they're flattened. So that is one thing that we would like to note. But a workaround could be creating the text box in that way. You can also create drag and drop activities that you want your students to do. What you would have to do is upload the original document into Cami, and then you would then insert utilizing our Add Media tool. Our Add Media tool is to the left side in our toolbar, and it's the second to last tool, and you can add whatever images that you would like for your students to drag and drop. And from there, you'll be able to, let's say you want them to, drag and drop particular, like the sticker, you would just insert the whatever image you would like for them to do, and you can have them label or drag and drop things in that way. Some other features that could be helpful to you would be you can create custom page preferences. So if we have some templates that are for our graphing paper, we have lined paper, wide ruled and college ruled. We have a lot of templates for note taking, but you also can customize the font, the size, the line spacing. You have full customization features for any of, like, if you create a new page, so you can do that as well. Inside, we also have inside of our, to the left, next to the top, at the top left, next to that Cami logo, we have what's called the annotation bank. What that annotation bank does is it allows you to save things that you have created in Cami, such as questions, comments. I've uploaded some GIFs, and you can save those things and insert them to future projects. So you can do that. So if you find yourself telling your students repeatedly, you writing complete sentences or a level of directions or a GIF you like to use with them, you can utilize that. In the annotation bank, you would just save, let's say, for example, I use please write in complete sentences. I can then hover over this text box, and to the far right, you'll see the trash can. To the left of the trash can, you'll see annotation bank, and it'll ask me to confirm that I want to add this to the annotation bank. I select confirm, and now this is inside of the annotation bank for me to utilize in the future for future assignments and activities for students. If we go back up to the top left side, now that I've selected that menu, from the far right is the annotation bank. To the left of the annotation bank, you'll see the icon that kind of looks like a thought bubble. And if you hover over it, it says annotation summary. What that does is allows you to see with timestamps when students or other collaborators have interacted with your document. So I can see exactly who utilized the text box. And if I were to click on that annotation summary, it'll tell me and highlight that exact summary, that exact annotation. So this is our annotation summary. And so that can be really helpful to navigate throughout the page. Like if your students are working collaboratively, you can see when they were working, who was really active, who was working on what. So it really helps with group work, especially in high school, because that can get very, very tricky. Then also going back up to the that menu. To the left of that annotation summary, we have the thumbnail view. And that it just allows you to see all of the pages in one view. So similar to Google Slides, you're able to quickly preview the slide deck. And it'll also give you a number of annotations that have happened on each slide. And you're just able to quickly hop to the next place inside of your document. Good amount of information, but any questions about our sidebar features or any of the customization or collaborative features here in Cami? Any questions? Okay, anybody? All right, we're gonna keep on keeping on. Now, the next part of our presentation is going to be talking about our understand menu. So I'm gonna close this menu up. In order to close that menu, you're gonna select to the right of the Cami icon logo. You're gonna select that. It looks like a file folder. You're gonna select that twice, and it'll close the annotation summary, that sidebar menu. All right, so the next part is our understand menu. So our understand menu is fairly new. It has been revamped from our dictionary tool. So if you use Cami, even as early as February of this year, you may have, underneath select, you may have seen the dictionary tool. Now, the dictionary tool is great and grand, and it's beautiful, and it does just that. If you select understand, the first option in the understand menu is dictionary, and it does just that. It will, let's see, if you highlight a word on the document, it will give you the dictionary definition of that word from the Oxford Standard Dictionary. So any word on the document, as long as it's a singular word, it will give you the definition of that word. Not only will it give you the definition of that word, it'll also read it aloud for you. And it'll read aloud the definition. Yeah, so it'll read it aloud to you. And it'll give you up to 3 of, if there's multiple definitions, it'll give you up to 3. Now, also, those definitions can be in Espanol as well. And it'll read it aloud for you. Yeah, so it'll be there. And that, so we've expanded from just a dictionary tool to now an understand menu. And our understand, the next place on our understand menu is translate. So inside of translate, it literally does just that. It will translate text, either a singular word, a phrase, or an entire paragraph or page of text into about 155 languages. So if I go over a level of text, it will give me a drop-down menu of a variety of languages. It's about 155. We have from, oh my goodness, we have Polish, we have Portuguese, we have 2 types of Spanish, traditional and simplified Chinese. We have Farsi. And not only does it translate into that language, but it also will read aloud for your students as well.
El menú entender, traducir, explicar, resumir, relevar.
Okay, that sounds weird. I have to change the voice. So I will change the voice. And where you can change the voice is in the read aloud menu. You can change the voice in there. But yes, so it can translate. The spirit behind this was we also know that our students, many of our students, are already utilizing some level of translator tools, especially if they are newcomers to the English language, and they're going back and forth between apps. And that can be frustrating. So the idea is that they'll have a central place where they can translate documents so that they can comprehend and fully grasp the content in one space, and to mitigate those frustrations and limit losing a student in the middle of a lesson. Not only can the translation be read aloud for your students, a comment can be created, and now the English and the translation live on the same text, and they do not, on the same document, and they do not impede with each other. And also that translation can be copied for your students. So if they want to take it to another document, maybe a Google Doc or a blank Word doc, they can do that as well. Now, underneath our translate tool, we also have explain. What explain attempts to do is just that. So I would like for us to, I'm on slide 17. I would like for you to play around with explain or translate or any of the tools in the understand menu, just so you can get your hands in it. So what explain attempts to do is just that. It will attempt to explain images or paragraphs. So I hovered over this area. Sorry, let me go smaller. I hovered over this area and of this image of a cheetah. And let's see what it'll explain. And so it'll give me all right, let's break this down. There's a monochromatic photograph of a cheetah in its natural habitat. Not only does it tell you what's happening in the photo, but it also will give you some questions based upon the photo. So how do these physical characteristics help the cheetah survive? Think about its speed and agility. What kind of environment do you think the cheetah is in? So it will give you information about that image, but also it will ask and prompt questions. This can really be helpful for you as a teacher. So if you have an image that you share with your students, it can help you generate or get some ideas flowing on for some discussion questions with your students. Not only does it give you that explanation, but it will read it aloud for you. You can also create a comment from that response, or you can copy that response and take it somewhere else. All right. For the next few tools of summarize, relevel, and adjust, I would like for us to play with those together. So if you would just click the summarize or relevel or adjust and toggle over an area on this page, on page 17, and then create a comment from that response, just so we can see what those tools do. So again, you're to your left side on the toolbar, you're going to select understand. The menu will pop out, and then you can select any of the tools in the understand menu. And when you do that, you'll be able to toggle over an area. For translate, you're able to select which language you would like for it to be translated to. It can take some time, so don't worry if yours is loading. I'm going to restart mine. But I would like for you to try it out and create a comment from that response. And then once once that response is generated, you are able to either have that read aloud, but what I would like for us to do is to create a comment from the response. So if we could do that together, we'll give it a minute or so. You can utilize any of the tools inside of the understand menu. What summarize does is it literally does that. It will summarize a breadth of text for you. Relevel will do the same. It will relevel a text. Beautiful. It will take a text from the academic language that it's in, and you can relevel it to any level. So you can change it from this grade level, I believe this is like a 5th grade text, to level 0, which would be a kindergarten level text. So you can do that. So it goes from in many ways, the cheetah is built for speed. And in the kindergarten level, it say cheetahs are made to run fast. So that's what read level is. And adjust is very similar to read level. It does the same thing. So you hover over an area of text and you can decide how much easier you want this text to be. So 3 levels easier from imagine you are in Africa. Suddenly a group of spots streaks past you. All of a sudden you see spots go by fast. What could it be? So it attempts to re-level the text for you. All right, somebody use the translate. Very good. Anybody else? Just want you to interact with some of these tools. Just the more likely you are to use them with your students. Beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, this is our understand menu. It's very new, well, fairly new. Since about February, March, they really rolled out and expanded the menu. So that is, you have access to this. And I think it could be helpful. But just so you know, you have the ability to turn off or on any of the features inside of this menu that you want your students to use or not. So if you don't want your students to utilize the re-level or the explain or the dictionary tool, when you share things with them, under that feature control, you can determine that you can uncheck the ones you don't want them to use or select the ones you do. So you still have control over what they have or don't have. If for some reason you don't see any of like the understand menu, please contact your administrator because your administrative team at your district turns those things on or off. So that wouldn't be something that's happening in CAMI. That's something that your district has determined or not. Let's see. You can even utilize for math, like the explain tool for math. It's really helpful for charts and graphs. It will help. So let's break this math problem down. So it'll even remind students to use PEMDAS and how they can go step by step into this problem. An order of operations. So it can even be useful in math as well. I've also seen people use it for like cells, for diagrams of a cell, a plant cell, and an animal cell, and it gives a breakdown of what's happening in there as well. And just remember, it can also read it aloud for students. So some of your students who are struggling readers, having things be read aloud to them really does help them to connect and grasp the content. So yes, so that is another place. All right. And then we have our Google Classroom. So CAMI being integrated into Google Classroom. So we do have some tools and features there that are super helpful for you as a teacher for Google Classroom. And I can show you those. So let me open my Google Classroom teacher account, and I will share that with you all. All right. And here we are. So for those of you who utilize Google Classroom, which to my understanding is nearly all of you. So when you are in Google Classroom, you're in your Google Classroom. Once you have that extension installed, you are able to have access to our CAMI assignment button. And the way that that works is in the same fashion that you would create any Google Classroom assignment, you would select the create button and you'll have this menu. Assignment will always be the first option, but now because you have the CAMI extension installed, you're going to have the option to create a CAMI assignment. So you'll see this here. And it will open up after it loads. It will look very similar to your regular Google Classroom assignment. The only difference is now it has CAMI assignment in it. It's the only difference. You will title, you will have to attach whatever document or resource you would like to use with for this activity or assignment, and you still have access to the feature controls. When you do attach, let's just say, for example, when you do attach, it still gives you those same Google Classroom features of making copy for each student or sharing one copy, or students cannot edit the file. So that is all there. The reason, so that's how Kami works with Google Classroom. So that is our integration. And we do have, I think most of you went to the last session, so I don't want to be redundant, but for those of you who have not, you're like, okay, why would I do that? Like, I'm already doing Google Classroom assignments. Why would I do the Kami assignment? Well, when you do create Google Classroom Kami assignments, instead of having just the review work, and you can, you still have the features of being able to see how many students have turned in, assigned, or graded an activity, you do have some additional buttons down here. So you'll have edit assignment. And what that allows you to do is, if you have, or you need to make any edits or changes, or let's say, for example, you may have forgotten to attach something to that assignment, you can make those edits. If you have any typos, if you would like to add additional instructions, or you've come to a place of, ooh, I think they need this resource, you can add any additional resources to that activity by selecting this edit assignment button. What that will do is open up the assignment inside of Google Classroom. And it will allow you to make any edits or changes. So if you would like to mark something up, you want to make sure, maybe all of your students are getting this one particular, question wrong. Sorry, I'm like, we're all over the place. And you want to make sure you want to highlight a particular area, you can do that as well. You can even insert a YouTube video. You can insert a graphic organizer from this position. And this is just to make sure and ensure that your students, you can make any edits even after the activity is assigned. I know that myself as a teacher, I definitely needed many times to have to make some edits and changes after I've already made an assignment, and Google Classroom makes you delete it and then reassign. And by that point, you've lost some students. So the edit assignment button allows you to make those edits without losing your students with the click of just edit. You click that edit assignment button, and then you update all changes, and those changes are now updated for your students in real time without having to reload the document nor reassigning the assignment. So that's the way you can do that. The next button that you'll see to the right of edit assignment is Open Class View. When you select Open Class View, it allows you to see all of your student work and grade all of your student work. Sorry, I'm making these smaller so you can see all your students' work. Zooming out, so you can see all your students' work and activities in one spot. So you're able to see your students' work. You're also able to grade your students' work in one spot, as opposed to the one by one in a traditional Google Classroom without the Kami integration. You are just able to just see each individual student's activity, and you have to grade them one by one. So one by one. With our class view, and because you utilize that Kami assignment button, you are now able to see all of your students' work in one spot and also grade it in this one spot as well. So it is a great place to save you some time, hopefully some frustration, and also provide feedback for your students in this spot. You can still add comments, you can add text box, you can add stickers. If you would like, utilizing our Add Media tool, you can add some stickers and you can give your students some feedback here. as well. So the class view is really designed to help you as a teacher to grade faster and to provide more feedback for your students as well. You can also get some insights into your students' work as well. So at the top, there's a bar here. To the far right, you see your initials. You'll see you can switch back and forth between editing assignment or utilizing class view. You can just toggle back and forth. You can also return your students' work here by selecting return all. And then there's an insights button. When you select there, you are able to see the score distribution for this particular assignment. You can see your top performers, your median, and your low scores as well. So this particular activity has, multiple choice questions. And you can see how many students completed these questions. And of those students who completed the question, what percentage of them got that question correct. This can also give you some great insights to create different small groups or reteaching ideas. So that is our activity. That is our class view. And the importance of creating Google Classroom Kami assignments. Any questions about class view? Anyone? All right, beautiful. Well, I'm going to get us back to our presentation and wrap this thing up. So if you do have any additional questions about Kami, or if you're like, oh gosh, that was a lot of fire hose of information, no worries. Again, like I mentioned before, you will have access to these slides. You're already on them. So this is your personal copy. We do have some additional resources and walkthroughs if you just need more information, or if you would just like to journey through asynchronously, you can do that as well. On this slide 19, there's some resources you can click to. Sorry, I need to click, and then it'll open you up to our asynchronous resources to get you started with Kami on your Kami journey. Next, so I just showed you the understand menu, but we do have in the works, it's already in development, our AI feedback tool. So what the idea behind this feedback tool would be, it would look at your students' work and analyze how your students have performed on an activity, and it would give you possible feedback it would suggest feedback that you can offer to your students. And you would approve or delete any feedback that you do not want. So you would be fully in control, but it would just give you some suggestions. You would be able to edit the feedback. You'd be able to edit it. So let's say it has a good portion and you want to keep part of it, you can do that as well. But that is just what's in the works and what's to come. So I know some of us want to give feedback. We're just like, I don't really know what to say here, or I keep giving the same feedback. Well, in this AI tool would give you some suggested feedback to give to your students. So you can do that as well. So that's what's to come. So look out for that. We also have some tutorials on some short form, like less than a minute, and up to, I think they're all less than 5 minutes on our YouTube channel, some tutorials and some resources to answer all of your Kami questions. If you're just like, how do I add my students? Or how do I do that class view thing again? You can go to our YouTube channel. We do have some certificates for you to become a Kami certified educator. We have 2 courses. They're both 30 minutes and they're both free and they're asynchronous. So you can go on your own time. We do have a Kami Hero program. So if you would like to share the Kami love and do some trainings, get some Kami out there into the world or to your district, you can become one of our trainers. And there's more information. There's a clickable link for you to do that. We also have our educators community, so you can learn from Kami teachers around the globe and how they're utilizing Kami in our Facebook group. And then I am going to give you the link in the chat now for your district's feedback link. Give me 1 second. So that you can do your district's feedback link. But again, I am Danielle, and I enjoyed you all. And you made it. The link that I put in the chat box is your district's feedback link. So please complete that out. Jennifer made it very clear to me that she wants you all to complete that. So make sure you complete that out. But again, I'm Danielle, and if you would like to meet with me, you totally can. You have, with your district's subscription, you have access to virtual PD. So we can schedule a training, or if you just have any questions, you can reach out to me. Myself and Katie are your go-to folks on the CAMI team. And again, on this CAMI doc, you have both of our contact information and just a bunch of resources that we went over today. How to open things in CAMI, your feature controls, CAMI and Google Classroom. So there's some good information here. But please be sure to do your district feedback at the link that I just put in the chat. And it is almost, 6 minutes back into your day. I hope y'all have a great time at this educator symposium. And I hope you have a great rest of your summer and a good weekend ahead of you all. Thank y'all so much.